Okay, so we're going to do some restorative practice to revive our energy after a hot day. It's 36 degrees here, which is 37 degrees. So kind of unheard of for the UK, isn't it? So it's quite exciting. So even though it's really warm, you definitely won't want a blanket to cover yourself with, but give yourself something soft to lay on. So you're not just laying directly on your mat. It doesn't really matter if you want to just lay directly on your mat, but it just helps you to kind of let go and relax a little if you've got something soft underneath you. But if that makes you too hot, though, then obviously don't do that. Have a bolster underneath your knees, have a couple of blocks for your feet, and then just get your folded blanket and make sure that it's folded neatly. And it's not really a neatness thing, it's a levelness thing. So if your blanket is folded quite precisely, then it's not going to be kind of, you're not going to feel kind of unlevel in your head. So just have the blanket for your head, have the bolster for underneath your shoulders, and then the blocks for underneath your knees. So we'll just start off in our basic relaxation pose. So just bring yourself down onto the floor. Just make sure you can stretch out. Have the bolster underneath your knees. Have the blocks supporting your feet. Just make sure that everything feels like it's in the right place to maximize your ability to relax. So the bolster underneath your knees just softens the lumbar spine. Just allow yourself to completely release into the floor. Listen to the sound of the breath. To cover your eyes or close your eyes. Covering your eyes just allows the light to it's almost like you switch the lights off if you can cover your eyes, just making it more conducive to relaxation. Soften your jaw, soften your tongue. Just allow your body to release into the floor, giving yourself permission to relax. Just enjoying the warmth touching your skin. Unhook the muscles of your arms and of your legs. And draw your attention into the soles of the feet. So just drawing your attention into the soles of the feet so that the skin of the soles of the feet just tingles with consciousness. And then consciously relax the soles of the feet. Draw your attention to the tops of your feet. Again, so that the skin of the tops of the feet begins to tingle with awareness. And consciously soften and relax the tops of the feet, from the skin and the bone and the muscle, just allowing the tops of the feet to completely relax. Draw your attention to your shins again, so that the skin of the shins tingles with awareness, consciousness. And then relax the skin and the flesh and the muscle and the bone of the calves and of the shins. Draw your attention into your kneecaps. And then release the muscle, ligaments and the skin around the kneecaps, allowing the fronts of the knees to sink into the backs of the legs. Draw your attention to your thighs. Draw your attention into the thighs, into the skin and the flesh and the muscle and the bones, and completely let go of tension in the thighs. And then consciously soften and release the skin of the thighs, flesh and the muscle, releasing the thighs and the knees and the shins and the feet into the floor. Just connecting with the heat that surrounds you. Allow that heat to penetrate into your limbs, into your bones. Draw your attention into the pelvis and the torso. Drawing your consciousness into the skin and the flesh and the muscle and the bones of the chest and of the torso and of the pelvis. Consciously releasing tension, allowing the floor to entirely support you. Draw your attention into your arms, to your upper arms and your lower arms. And then allow your arms to just release into the floor. Just using your out breath to release into the floor a little more each time. Just releasing in your arms, your upper arms and your lower arms and the palms of the hands. Draw your consciousness into the palms of the hands and allow the palms to sink into the floor. Draw your attention into your neck and into your head, feeling the skin that surrounds the head. And then release around the neck, release the skin of the neck, release the skin of the skull, stretching down from the crown of the head to the forehead, down to the cheekbones, down to the chin. Just feeling the lightness of the skin all around the body. Breathe deeply and evenly. Just enjoying this blissful moment of no demand. Just using this time to replenish your energy. Basking in the glow of positive energy. When you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees, just rest your feet on the bolster for a moment. And then roll onto your right side for a moment. And then stretch yourself up into a seated position. Good. So we're going to do a lovely pose called Mountain Brook. So get your blanket and then fold it down the middle. So you've got kind of a long, narrow blanket like that. And then fold it down the middle again so it's kind of longer and fatter. And then that is going to be support for your shoulders. So you don't need the blocks for your feet, but this is going to go in the shoulder blade region. So this is lovely. So you just come down onto the floor like you were doing before, but the folded blanket is in your shoulder blade region, and then you just let your arms just rest on the floor over your head. So you've just got the blanket in your shoulder blades. You might have to adjust a couple of times just to get them in the right place. And then just let your arms rest along the floor. You can hold one hand with the other, or just let the hands just rest down onto the floor. So this really opens up the front chest. It opens up the armpit chest. It's a really lovely, blissful, energizing position to lift your energy when you're feeling tired and when it's hot like it's been today. Then you'll find that your energy is probably a little depleted. Just allow yourself to release into the floor. So as we progress, I'll speak less and less so that you can just focus on being in the pose rather than listening. Just remember, there's no benefit in riding it out if it's uncomfortable. Adjust your position until it's comfortable. Just enjoy this quiet time where there is no expectation or demand on your body or on your mind other than to just be here and just experience the opening of the chest. And then very gently bring your arms back to the sides of the body. Bend your knees and then just roll yourself back up into the seated position. Just sit in cross legs for a moment. Just feel all of that tension released from your shoulders and from your neck. So it's a lovely feeling of flowing energy. Just fold your blanket so you've got a long, thin blanket, and then fold it down the middle again. So it's kind of narrow and quite thick. So you've got quite a thick, narrow blanket there. You're going to stay with the bolster, and then we're going to do our spinal stretching pose. This is really good for energy. So just sit yourself on the floor. You're not going to sit right up on top of the bolster, on the blanket rather, but you're just going to guide yourself down. Now, you might need to come in and out of this a couple of times just to get the right position. So you come down along the blanket and then fold the end of the blanket up to create a little pillow. If it feels like it kind of digs in to your lumbar, then just shuffle down away from the blanket a little more, lengthen the spine along the blanket, and then just give yourself this little mini bolster from underneath your back, and then release your arms out to the side. So remember, just come in and out of the pose until you feel like you've got comfort, and then just experiment with where you put the bolster. So just put the bolster underneath your shins, underneath your calf muscles, and just see, does it give you a feeling of length in the spine? Quite possibly not. So maybe roll the bolster up towards the back so your knees a little, so it's not quite in the backs of the knees, but more in the tops of the calves. And then see if that gives you that feeling of elongation in the spine. This is the spine lengthening pose. Again, making sure that you feel comfortable. And if you don't, then adjust till you do. So once you get the bolster into the right part of your back, bolster into the right part of your knees, then there's a feeling of elongation along the spine, along the rolled up blanket. Just completely releasing the muscles of the arms and of the legs. Giving yourself permission to relax. When you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees, and then roll onto your right side, just rolling off the folded blanket, and then sit yourself up. Again, just sit in a gentle cross-legged position for a moment. Just feel how perhaps your energy has just started to release throughout the body. There's a lightness on the inside. So take your blanket. So we're just sticking with really simple equipment today. So take your blanket and then have it so that it's folded out like this. And then fold it down the middle again, and then try and fold it one more time. So it's a thick bolster. So you're not going to use the bolster, but you're going to have this really thick blanket folded underneath. And then we're going to do our side stretch. So you're going to just sit along the floor, lengthen out this side ribs, and then just have, you can, if you've got an oblong bolster, you can use a bolster. If it's not too high for you, you just bring the folded blanket into your armpit chest, have a block just to support your head, leave your knees bent. This arm that's on the floor is just in a little gentle right angle, and then you can just rest your arm over your ear. So your knees bend. The only bit of equipment that you're really using is the folded blanket in the armpit chest region. Have a block for your head. And then just stretch your arm over your ear. And just let that arm just release. No tension, no extension, just relaxation. Breathe evenly and deeply. using this opportunity to relax. And by relaxing, we rejuvenate our energy. And by rejuvenating our energy, we give more positive energy. So this is a valuable time to rejuvenate, refresh, and share our energy. And then bring your arm back just to rest on the top of the body, on the upper ribs. And then push your elbow into the floor, bring yourself up into a seated position, and then just bring yourself over to the other side. So again, you stretch out this side ribs, bring the blanket, the folded blanket, into the armpit chest. So let the arm that's on the floor just rest easily in a little right angle, and then extend your upper arm over your ear and just release. And then bring the top arm back to the side of the body. Push your elbow into the floor and then bring yourself up into a seated position. Just sitting cross legs for a moment. Just feel how the side ribs are really lengthened out. And then just for the last couple of minutes, have a blanket for your head and just lay directly in a straight line along the mat. So if you've got discomfort in your back, you can always put the bolster underneath your knees. Otherwise, just use the blanket. Make sure you're in a good straight line, and then allow yourself to just release into the floor. Keep your eyes closed. Unhook the muscles of the arms and of the legs, so that you allow your body to become heavy on the floor. As you release into the floor, observe perhaps that your energy rises to the uppermost skin. Feel the lightness of your energy rising to the top of your skin. So there's a feeling of lightness. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness evenly throughout the body. Down to the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, the top of the head. Just basking in that feeling of lightness and positive energy. And when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees and draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side, just a gentle massage, a grounding massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then stretch out your top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just cross legs with hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Just close your eyes, draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. conscious of the energy that you have released through your gentle yoga practice. Perhaps observing how your energy has changed a little. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And when we share our positive energy comes back to us. Just gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards as you raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy a little and you've given yourself a good level of energy and relaxation for the rest of your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.